Hello and welcome to Gary Goes. And no, my name is still not Gary. And welcome to Tahrir Square in Cairo. So hopefully you've seen the first part of my Egypt video where I checked out the pyramids and a little bit around Giza. And now, this is Cairo, downtown Cairo. So all a little bit crazy. Tahrir Square is kind of the main modern or modernish part of Cairo. A big square where they've got the Egyptian Museum, which you just see in there now. There's a big underground car park, lots of office blocks and apartments, and an absolutely crazy roundabout, which I only just found out after I had negotiated those crazy I say crossings. There are no crossings. You've just got to take your chance and sort of put your hand up and just go for it. But I did realise afterwards that there was a little subway walking area, so that was a mistake. Never mind. And then this is the Cairo Metro, which was quite handy. So I wanted to get from here to Tahrir Square right to the souk area, which would have been about an hour's walk. So I took the metro, which was a pretty cool experience, pretty much just locals, to this area here, which was about a 25-minute walk to where I wanted to be, because there was no metro station there, right in the souk district. But it was a nice walk. Well, it was a bit of a crazy walk, as most walks are, I think, in Cairo. But I will let you sample the madness. But there was a really cool sort of authentic open air marketplace when you came out of the metro station. But this walk was interesting. So I'm sure after all of that, your ears are ringing just as much as mine were. Seriously, if you do ever come to Cairo or Giza, make sure you bring earplugs, because you will not sleep, because that goes on all night. Anyway, this is the Khan El Khalili. This is the souk district. There's a couple of really impressive mosques here, and loads of really interesting shops. Some a bit touristy, some quite a lot more authentic. A few little coffee shops and things like that. But really nice place. A nice kind of haven for a walk around. It was really interesting walking from the area that I did, because I kind of get the impression around Cairo that tourists, and understandably, because taxis are dirt cheap, but tourists will sort of taxi from one place to another, and that's more or less what I ended up doing. But it was really, really cool just to have a little walk from, as I say, the metro station area, 25-30 minutes up to the Khan El Khalili district. I didn't see any tourists, or not what was obviously a tourist at least, until I got here. And then it was a good mix here of locals and tourists, I think, but really evocative, really interesting walk around. As I say, some of those mosques were really impressive. Didn't go inside any, didn't really have time, because I only had one full day in Cairo and I wanted to kind of maximise what I was seeing, and I had 3 or 4 different stops planned. But it was really interesting to have a little wander around this district and check out all the souks and all the little shops and things there. Cairo is a really interesting city, because obviously you've got the Nile that runs through the middle of it, but then there's really, probably more so than anywhere I've been, that mixture between modern around Tahrir Square and the office blocks and things, and then this old town, which is still being used. This isn't just touristy, this is People do their shopping here, they live around here, they attend mosque around here. And you've really got that feeling of the old meets the new, really, which is fascinating. And this is the Citadel of Saladin, which is absolutely massive. I would say probably not even a quarter of it is renovating and open to the public. It's a really, really big area that it covers. It was kind of a barracks. It was obviously initially at one point the kind of the royal family, the Saladin, lived there. And then you've got, there's an army museum, there's a police museum, there's a big mosque as well, and then this fantastic viewing area where you can see all over the city. This is the mosque, obviously. I kind of had a peek through the door, as I say, didn't go in, didn't really visit any mosques on this trip, but yeah, it was amazing. I don't know if you can make out the pyramids there, but the pyramids at Giza are visible from this viewpoint, and yeah, that was definitely worth a couple of hours. Didn't really do much in the Army Museum. There's some planes outside. I prefer looking at planes to kind of looking at army or military history. But yeah, this was pretty cool, and all included in the cost. Didn't go in the police museum either. As I say, I was on a little bit of a tighter schedule, although I did manage to sit down in a little coffee shop and have a Coke to refresh myself. But yeah, it was all included. I think, if memory serves, it was maybe about £8. But I'd say definitely worth it, at least for the views. Some amazing buildings there, and yeah, it was a really good hour or two, again, just wandering around the Citadel. So yeah, that was absolutely somewhere that was on my list to check out, and I'm glad that I did. And somewhere else that was on my list to check out was the Hanging Church. So there's an area of Cairo called the Coptic Centre. So obviously Cairo and Egypt are Muslim countries, but there is also a history of Christianity, which has been quite big in Egypt and specifically around Cairo. So there is a district there with several churches, and this being the most famous. And yeah, this was a nice little explore, nice little wander around the Hanging Church in the Coptic area of Cairo. It's actually really cool in there as well. I'm not sure they've got some kind of aircon, or is it just kind of the flow of the air through the building, but it was, I remember it being really nice and calming, and yeah, just a nice feeling of air and breathability after walking around some of the dusty streets. So yeah, it was interesting. I didn't spend long there. It was only maybe 20 minutes or so. I'm not a big one for exploring churches, other than occasionally just getting a flavour of what the inside looks like. But yeah, it was interesting. And again, I'd say with Cairo, because some of the sites are a little bit spread out, it's so easy to get the taxi. I mean, yeah, there is the metro, and I got the metro back from here back to around Tahrir Square again. But in general, taxis are so cheap, £2 or £3. I was kind of quoted an expensive rate going from the Citadel to the Hanging Church, but it was tourist rates, and you can haggle and negotiate. And I think in the end I ended up paying about £4, £5, something like that, so it wasn't too bad. And here we are on the Nile. So yeah, last saw this the previous evening when I had the cruise tour, which was lovely, but it stopped, I think, at this bridge, or approaching this bridge, to then turn back. So it was nice to get down onto the waterfront and just see what's, surely one of the most famous rivers in the world. There are still crocodiles on the Nile, although they're not around Cairo anymore. But if you go sort of out of town, I believe, or so I was told, there are still some crocodiles on there and some other kind of more exotic wildlife. But yeah, there's the area just down from Tahrir Square. I think that's one of the hotels that I saw, again, from the cruise. So that being the more modern district, with the upper class hotels and the office blocks and apartments. And then this is the island where there is the Cairo Tower, which is right here. So yeah, I kind of walked across that bridge and head to the island and to the Cairo Tower, which was pretty impressive. I believe it's supposed to resemble a lotus flower. Now, I did fully intend on going to the top of the Cairo Tower, and in fact I purchased a ticket. However, by the time I got there, they didn't tell you how long it was waiting, and it would have ended up being about a 2 or 3 hour wait, so I would have missed sunset, so I sacked that off. So this is the next full day, and my last full day in Egypt, and I'd kind of left this day open a little bit to see what I really fancied doing. And Alexandria was somewhere that was on my list. If I had a chance, I did want to go somewhere by the sea, or have a little bit more of a chilled day. but also see somewhere else in Egypt other than Giza and Cairo. So yeah, Alexandria I think ended up being a good choice. And this is the necropolis. So Alexandria is much more Roman in terms of its history, obviously, because it was the capital of the Roman Empire for a time. And it makes a nice change from the obviously the ancient Egyptian focus in Cairo and in Giza. So this was fascinating. These tombs underground, they were so extensive, went on so far, and so intricate, some of the carvings and things. And they only discovered it, I think, if I remember rightly, about 100 years ago. They were kind of digging a hole, and then they dug through and found this necropolis with all of these tombs in there. But I think some of them had been already raided and taken out, hundreds of years before. But yeah, absolutely fascinating. And just imagine discovering this. But yeah, this was really cool. Like most tourist things in Egypt, it was really cheap. I think you're talking £2 or £3, and I could have spent longer there. So yeah, when I decided that I was looking at Alexandria, I asked the hotel to kind of quote me a price for somebody for the day. I didn't really want a guide. I essentially wanted someone to take me from Cairo to Alexandria, just to a few of the places that I wanted to go to. And I think in the end I paid $70. So what's that? £55-60, which I felt was a pretty fair price. So Alexandria is around 2.5 hours from Cairo or from Giza on the motorway. This is a sort of toll road. And yeah, it was a great day, and the guy who went with me was awesome. He just gave me his number, and I went and explored and just texted him when I was ready to be picked up. But yeah, the main things I wanted to do in Alexandria was the necropolis here, and then I wanted to go to the citadel, the famous white building that's right on the Mediterranean. And then I just wanted to chill for a couple of hours. I wanted to go to a fish restaurant because we're on the sea. And I wanted to just sit on the beach for a couple of hours because that was not something that I've done on this trip, or indeed any trip at all recently. So I wanted a bit of time to chill, and that's what we did. And this is the citadel of Kate Bay. So yeah, I probably butchered that pronunciation, as I do most on this channel, but hopefully you'll forgive me. But this was really beautiful, old citadel right on the seafront. Amazing day for the blue skies behind. And yeah, apparently this was on the site of the Lighthouse of Alexandria, which was one of the ancient wonders of the world, along with the pyramids, until it was destroyed by a series of earthquakes, I think, in the Middle Ages. And they reckon that some of the masonry from that lighthouse has been used to build this citadel, which was, I think, around that time, around 1400, I think it was built. So all really, really impressive. And yeah, again, another amazing place to wander around. It's kind of a shell inside. There's not much to see in there, although it's interesting that they show you kind of on the first or second floor the big gap down to the entrance, and they said this is where they would have poured the boiling oil to the invaders, which was pretty cool. But other than that, it's fairly empty inside. But what a location. And that kind of building right there on the seafront is the new Library of Alexandria, after the original has not been around for a few hundred years, but the new one apparently is a really impressive building. I think they're really proud of it in Egypt. The guy didn't want to take me there. I was like, no, it's fine. I don't really want to look around the library. I can see it's an impressive building from the outside. But yeah, wander around the citadel was certainly interesting. But as I say, it's all fairly empty inside, but with a bit of imagination, and you can imagine how it was. And yeah, even through those little windows, some great views out to the sea, to the Mediterranean. Oh, and this lunch was amazing. Seafood, rice, and the best calamari I think I've ever had. So, as I said, I did ask the guide, I said, in the afternoon, I just want a couple of hours chilling by the beach before we go back to the madness of Cairo and Giza. And he obliged with this fantastic place. I told him I wanted seafood. That was what I've not been eating. That's what I've been craving. I've had a lot of sort of grilled meats, rice, and things like that. So I wanted some seafood. So this was where he took me. So there's a restaurant there right on the beach. There's 3 or 4 restaurants, I think, inside that kind of complex, all different styles. But there was a great seafood restaurant on the first floor with a really nice view out, and then this private beach area, which was also great. And yeah, he took me there. There was a few other guides I could see that had taken people there, but there was also a lot of Egyptians there as well. And it was really, again, a really reasonable price, again, as most things are. That meal with the Coke, I'm going to say it was about £5, I think, something like that. Really, really reasonable. And yeah, a lovely little beach and a cool place to chill out. This is not a cool place to chill out. This was the madness of Giza when I got back at the end of the day, went for a little wander, and I thought I'd just capture some of the insanity. Yeah, this is, as I say, Giza is fascinating because there are so many tourists there, but most of the areas are so not touristy. So yeah, this is some of the craziness. And outside my window at 11 o'clock at night. So, couldn't let you go without a little room tour, and I will keep this brief. This is the Crown Pyramids view, with a crown with an E. There's a few very similar hotels around here, and yeah, it's been okay. It's not as they describe it in the pictures on booking.com. It's a little bit battered, as you can see. That's kind of falling apart, but you know, it was clean enough and it did the job. There is a little fridge there. Cattle, they do bring coffee and like wine and stuff, but I did just buy some milk from around the corner. Nice big wardrobe with some hangers. The bathroom is a little bit ropey, but again, serves the needs. Yeah, hot water toilet, obviously, and yeah, the bath isn't the best. I mean, it looks massive, but yeah, it's needs a proper clean. And yeah, kind of, if you look down there at the grouting and stuff, it's not the best. Definitely wouldn't be having a bath in there, but the shower was fine. Obviously a sink and mirror. But yeah, it's everything you need. That papyrus picture thing glows in the dark with some other little images behind it, which is interesting. And the beds were fine, quite hard, like a twin, but bigger than a single, so not too bad. And then the view, here's the pyramids view, and there is the pyramids. So yeah, Giza, as you've seen on the video, is not the most salubrious area, but it's very authentic, and yeah, can't beat that, can you? So that is the room review of the Crown with an E Pyramids view. Oh, TV, again, never used and not plugged in. So after a few hectic days in Cairo and Giza, nice to sign off from the seaside, from the South Mediterranean, where I've just dipped my feet in, had a little paddle for probably the last time of the year, I would definitely imagine. So that was nice. Had a lovely lunch out there in the seafood restaurant. So yeah, this is Alexandria, absolutely beautiful. Definitely recommend that as a day trip from Cairo if you've got a chance to get out of the city. I mean, the city itself is still fairly manic, but the bit by the seafront is lovely, as you can tell. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, or videos, depending on how much content there's been by the time I edit it. But yeah, it's been a really, really good trip. Ticked off a lot of bucket list items, been inside 2 pyramids, and now ending off my time at the seaside. So absolutely can't complain. So yeah, stay tuned for any more Gary Goes that might be coming up along your way soon. And if you haven't already, then there's plenty of travels in the past for you to check out. So anyway, thanks for watching to the end of this video. Do the usual, like, subscribe and all that nonsense. And yeah, I will see you again, hopefully, somewhere different. Okay, ciao for now.